Yo, Flows, what's up? It's good to see you all. Thank you for coming. I'm glad you could make it. We got the boss of the house, Michael Khan. We got
Yeah.
PJ, Zaluka, and Thunder. What? Footage. That's Roger.
Thunder Lips from Rocky 3.
How are you guys
Oh,
doing?
The ultimate male,
good.
Hello.
baby. The ultimate male against the ultimate
Whoa.
meat man.
Oh,
Hulk Hogan played a good part.
Yeah, it's good to see you guys all. Hey, everybody in the YouTube lands as well. Thank you for popping by. Really, really happy to see you. We do have Miss Mark Queen Bee in the house. Jeff Conkle, thank you for coming. Michael Khan, obviously. PJ, obviously. Derek Nelson, what's up? Sandro, hello. Good to see you, man. Barry Ross, hello. Great to have you in, man. Josh Monday, glad to have you in. Norman Cross, always good to see you too. No longer on a ball as well. Hey. Glad to have you. And we just have Ryan popped in. What's up? And for Jax. Yee.
Well, hey. Oh, I thought you meant for Jack's popped in. Yeah, on this side.
yeah, he did.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I meant in here, in
Well,
Restream.
Roger, in Roger's stream.
Roger's
Roger's
Yeah.
stream.
Yeah.
So hello to the two people in Roger's stream. Woo.
Oh, you're restreaming it. Oh, got you.
Yeah.
So you sussed that out, you StreamYard now. So doing Chrome was the right thing then.
Oh, it is.
I told you that it was Chrome. It was the thing. And does it give you all the same options now, like tab, Windows, extra entire screen, and all that?
Yeah, it
So
does.
you can do it properly now. Excellent. Cool.
Yeah, I would have never thought that would be the case, but I guess.
I did say it was Chrome.
It was.
You needed to do
No,
Chrome.
you were absolutely right, Peter. That's awesome. I'm glad. You know, it's great that you learned by the hard way, right? Like just clicking buttons and figuring it out. You can
Yeah.
people that get in that same fix, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
So we've got the votes going. 200 scriptures of a flat Earth. Yes, 48%. No, 38%. Well, it's changed. No, 36% now.
Yeah.
And not sure, 16%.
I
Woohoo,
actually,
thank you guys.
I actually,
Hello,
clicked
Duper
yes.
Coons.
I actually clicked yes to click no because I don't believe there is 200 scriptures. Not the 200 scriptures they use anyway. Not the 200 scriptures.
I agree on that. The Bible does describe a flat Earth, but I don't think it's the 200 scriptures that they present
No.
are all based to describe a flat Earth, because you've got to take in context what the scripture says. So yeah, I'm definitely on that as well.
Well, nobody ever exaggerates about anything, do they?
What's
See,
up,
we have a
Dylan?
Duper Queens in the house again. Oh, I bet you Duper is Luca. I'd love to see
Yeah.
that. Duper is
What
Luca.
did you say?
Duper is Luca. Luca is Duper.
Yeah, I'm on my computer now.
No, I was just comparing you to someone else. I was saying you and Duper Queens are the same person.
Well,
I'm surprised.
I'm also on my.
From our conversation before the stream, it would appear that they are contrails.
No, chemtrails.
Chemtrails.
But anyway, that's not a topic for tonight. We're talking
I
about
know.
200 verses.
I wasn't gonna dwell on that too long.
Have you been following me around and watching everywhere I go, or something?
Yes.
Yeah. So, have you guys seen what those verses are?
I have read all 200.
Oh, see, I have read them. I can't remember them off by heart, but yeah, I've read them.
I can't find a high res of it though.
There's a lot of it in Psalms that's definitely nothing to do with the flat Earth.
Yeah. But I got like a very blurry one on Twitter, yeah.
There's a difference between teaching flat Earth and describing flat Earth, though.
Really?
Go on.
That they may describe the Earth as flat, but they don't teach that the Earth is flat.
What?
What's the difference?
Describing it. What's the difference?
What's the difference?
What's the difference?
Well, it's the olden days. They just used eyes they just use observations to see that the Earth might be flat.
Okay.
So they described it as flat.
What do you mean?
So it still
Yeah,
teaches
so
it's
they
flat.
describe it flat.
It doesn't matter
So
how you
if-
name it, it still teaches it.
What's the difference? Like, if you use the Bible to teach somebody, they'll end up learning the Earth is flat and stationary.
True
Right?
that.
And wouldn't there have to be truth there?
Well, it was a Miss Mod Queen Bee.
Okay. Anyway, so
All right.
let's start with the first one, and then we can check it out. I think we're gonna have a voting system for this. How's it, guys? We say which
Sure.
verse is, and you vote one in chat if it is describing a flat Earth, or two if it's not describing a flat Earth. How's that sound?
Yeah, it's good.
That works.
Okay, I'll vote too.
Oh, Jeff just put in a link. What link is this? Oh, can't tell the difference.
Ah,
You can't vote, Luke, until we've started reading them.
Yeah, I haven't
yeah,
given you a
I
vote.
know.
Yeah, sorry, I just put it in there. Have Luca watch that.
Yeah, I think
I
Luca,
see.
you should watch that.
Yeah. Not doing it. Don't do it now. Wait till we're done.
But be careful.
Yeah, they both look the same. The control and chemtrail look the same.
No, they don't.
No, they react different.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they react
I
very. The
wanna do that.
dispersion is very
Come on.
different. The clumpiness is very different.
Yeah.
But
And-
thanks very much, Jeff, for the link. Really appreciate it, man.
And
Okay.
contrails last about 30 seconds to a minute, and chemtrails don't carry on for ages. Anyway, we're not talking about that.
Crystals don't float around the sky for hours afterwards. They don't. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Genesis 1 verse 1 to 19.
And 1 is for yes, and 2 is for no.
Earth
Right?
created before the sun. Type 1 in chat if that is describing a flat Earth, or chat 2. Put type 2 in chat if that is not describing a flat Earth.
Well, it's describing the ball not being possible, considering that the sun would have had to come first, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But does it prove
your
that there's?
model.
But I mean, it's an angle, but it's not necessarily proof, though.
Straight out one for that.
Yeah. Just describes the flat Earth.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to like be negative. I'm just saying, honestly, in my heart, I don't feel like that's evidence, because it's just conjecture or whatever. I mean, it might actually be a truth, but until I have analyzed the whole thing and put it all together, well, I understand that, right?
What is it? What is it again?
The sun being the day.
Yeah, so it's describing Earth coming before the sun.
Yeah.
That's not describing a flat Earth.
Yeah, but it helps.
Oh,
It
yeah,
helps
yeah, I
like
get
it's
you.
for flat.
No, but in context, is it the cosmology?
It's not heliocentrism, but
That's
that's
for sure.
don't necessarily mean it's describing a flat Earth. Like,
Well-
you've got to be honest.
I agree.
But yeah,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, I've put one because it helps towards. It's not.
Okay,
Direct.
maybe we should have done it differently, though, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have type 1 if it describes a flat Earth, 2 if it doesn't describe it, type 3 if it describes based on the flat Earth model.
If it describes like flat Earth
The
cosmology,
biblical cosmology.
yeah, right. Okay.
Now you're going
But
to
yeah, I would
confuse
agree with
people.
that. I would agree. That in itself does not say it's a flat Earth.
Right.
Sure.
So
Michael does have a point.
for that
But
one,
it
three.
does disprove, though, the globe.
Yeah.
or at least
that
seemingly is. Yeah.
It does.
what? It doesn't prove the globe, no.
Oh,
This
I
proves
thought
it.
you said it.
Yeah,
Disprove.
That's a good way to Earth put it. It supports flat Earth,
Yeah, it
but
supports
it's not actually describing Earth being flat in any way.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's what?
It's weird.
So it's not-
How I put it. It supports it as well.
It's not
Well,
a
I mean-
descriptor.
We look at water, right? We see that it finds its level. So when God describes two bodies of water being separated by a firmament, where does your mind go with that when you just think about just that? It goes to a flat surface against a flat surface, right? I mean, that's where I see. But I'm not saying that it's evidence or it's proof of that necessarily, but it does point towards that logical reasoning, right?
Of course.
Yeah, but
my
because in
mind,
the bottom of the line, though, it does describe it that's going to go against the heliocentric model. It's going to go against
Yeah.
what they claim today as quote unquote scientific.
my mind goes to science fiction when I read about that.
Why?
Wow. After
You're
heliocentrism,
the embodiment of
And
science.
shows
you're the body exactly.
Okay,
Well,
Luca,
Halloween is coming up.
don't you think you first have to prove that it is science fiction before you make such a claim, though?
But the firmament,
What about
yeah,
the
it is, isn't it?
what
Science
about the
fiction.
firmament?
Just in the Bible, it states that the heavens are above and below, the water or something, were separated by a firmament, right?
Yeah, and how's that fantasy?
How is it
Well,
science fiction if it's
it
scriptural?
doesn't exist.
It does exist.
Well,
Wait, it keeps
Look
it
at-
natural law. It keeps it natural law. You
that's
know
more
your
science than fiction.
your heliocentric belief system goes against natural law.
There's more science to prove.
Even if it did,
There's more science.
even
to
if
prove that.
our
Yeah.
heliocentric belief system did go against natural law,
It does.
you
Not even if it
still
does, it
haven't
It
does.
does.
you
It
still
does.
haven't proved that the firmament is actually there.
Yes, I did. But I'm breathing right now. Means
So-
you got physical
Well,
containment.
I'll tell you how we know it's there. We're alive.
Mm.
Because if
Exactly.
there'd just be waters and we won't be
Exactly.
alive, like because
That's-
We'd be
it
drowning
separated
right
the
now.
waters from the water, so that
Yeah.
there were a place for us to live.
to breathe.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
more evidence of that because we're able to breathe than distance to the sun. You say that as a fact, and you haven't got a clue what the distance to the sun actually is. You know what I mean? But you use 93 million miles as fact. I think the firmament's more factual than that. There's more evidence to support that than a 93 million mile away sun.
Yeah, we can actually
Alright.
do a little test on this if you want to, Luca.
We'll do that on another stream.
No, we're on this right now. It's fine.
Okay, sure.
Um,
You can.
so
if you
Luca,
want.
show us evidence for space, please.
Well, I guess the pictures from space are good evidence.
No. You can't prove Narnia by showing pictures from Narnia.
Scientifically prove it.
Yeah, give us evidence for your space.
But satellites go to space?
With
Again,
satellites.
they go to a place that violates natural law, Luca. So how can you claim they have photos taken from a place that violates natural law?
People have gone to space?
You're
Have
claiming
it?
again that people went to violate natural law.
You're still saying space.
Lots of people say they were in the ISS.
How many?
Violating natural law doesn't make it truth, Luca. So can you provide us
people.
evidence that you can violate natural law?
I
Would you
mean,
find it interesting if they were
120
all
people
in the club
providing
together?
testimony that they went to space is pretty good evidence.
How many, Luke?
So what
About
is space? Where does
120
it start? Where does it end?
120.
different people.
That's
in the
120 full blown liars.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
mean, that's hard to believe that they are all lying.
Okay.
For admitting that you just believe.
Do you know that people have lied in the past, Luca?
Yes, and they've always been caught.
Do you
And they
know
will lie.
do you know there have been instances where a large crowd of people have lied before, Luca?
Maybe like 20.
Yeah.
Maybe,
And-
really.
And they have been caught, Luca. We can go on video and show them where they're on
Yeah.
wires.
Absolutely.
We got any
Yes,
blooper clips laying
they've
around?
been caught out. Yes.
They've been caught.
Would a
People
true space
don't
agency
accept
need
it.
to fake
Yeah, they
anything?
have.
That's
But the globe Earth and space has never been caught as liars.
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
Because you're claiming to violate natural law. So can you
No,
show
but
us any instance where you
testimony-
can violate natural law?
no worries.
I
We
mean-
can break it.
Good to
I mean,
see you,
the
Jonah. Good to
testimony
see you,
from
man.
them might indicate that you're mistaken.
Sure.
Okay,
Right.
can you show us a demonstration where you can violate the second law of thermodynamics, please?
I mean, the testimony between all those people might suggest that
No. I'm also for a
doesn't
demonstration. I'm
violate
also for a
natural law.
demonstration. I'm also for an actual demonstration where you can violate natural law, please.
A testimony isn't demonstration. That's an anecdote. It's anecdotal.
Well, there's obviously no demonstration because it's impossible to violate natural law.
Exactly.
How about that?
Hey Barry, what's up, man?
Jono.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Good to see you.
Hello.
Hey, good to see you, Barry, man. Good to see you. Hey, who said that? Who said that? Who just said that?
Hi, Barry.
No, Genesis 120 does not support evolution. Dupa, start with your silliness.
Really? Did he just say
And
that?
God said, "Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature." That's creation, mate. Evolution is not creation.
Numpty.
How in the world did he come to that conclusion? I have no idea.
Poons,
idea.
mate.
Because it's
I
Dupa
don't know
Poons.
why we even don't even address Duper Poons.
I know who Duper is.
Oh, no, I just wanted to tell him how silly that was. That's all. That was me.
That's
That was my bad.
ridiculous.
That was my bad.
I'll go on a limb. I'll say that was dumb.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
All
It's
these
dumb
names,
as
these names do platoons for a reason, by the way.
What?
I love that super delight.
So, Luca, what?
Yeah?
Why wouldn't not? So if you got paid enough to act in a movie, would you consider that telling the truth?
Well, if I got paid enough to act in the movie,
Yeah.
isn't that all actors?
Yeah,
Ah.
pretty much. Yeah.
So do actors lie?
Yes,
Okay.
that was the question.
In the movie, I guess they would.
They're not. They're not living their life. They're telling a story that they were handed. So yeah, it would be technically a lie, right?
For entertainment,
Yeah. But if you had to uphold a
it's
government and a
like a
budget
comedy show.
and a
You
whole
know?
religion, if you're wearing that weight on your shoulders, wouldn't you be lying too?
But if I had to lie if I had to, if they had, if it wasn't in a movie and they paid me to lie to the entire world, that might be a bit more difficult to do.
Do you
Luca.
think people have never been paid in the past to lie?
I'm sure people have been paid to lie
Hmm.
in real life.
And not everybody's,
And
not
but-
everybody's got the same moral compass as you, Luca.
Yeah,
Some people
but-
would lie.
But think about it. It's very easy for people to get paid to lie, but it's not easy to violate natural law. So what's more plausible? Accept that people lied because it's very possible, or accept that they can't they can't violate natural law just because they say they can.
It's easy to pay people to lie, but it's hard to maintain the lie over long periods
Yeah,
of
that's
time.
why they're getting called out for their lies. Well done.
Exactly.
So our government has done espionage for over centuries for money, power, and everything else. Why would they not create a political machine, a propaganda machine to uphold these lies?
He's acting there's no if someone's saying I'm paid.
Are you? Well,
Luca,
are you?
I want to ask you a question.
Would the court accept my answer?
Well, or
If I
Luca,
said
Barry
no?
wants Barry wants to ask you something, Luca. Go,
Okay,
Barry.
what was
Got a
it?
question.
Do you think your question will change anything?
What?
Let Barry ask a question.
I was talking to the person who was going to ask the
Mr.
question. I
Ross.
said, your question will
Yeah,
make any
Barry
difference.
wants to ask Luca a question. Sorry, Ryan. Barry just wants to ask Luca a question quickly.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
no, that's
go
kind of the point. I mean, I've been listening, I've been following along with you guys for a while, and pretty familiar with Luca. So, Luca, here's my question about the lying, and if we think they could lie, or if they think we can't lie. Now, I know a lot of people in what I'll call our community, if you can call it that, have done a lot of looking into footage and all the different aspects of this whole space, man with the space thing. There are multiple instances of blue screen glitches, people getting seen on wiring harnesses while they're in the ISS, things falling off of shelves while they're in the ISS. All of these things prove that they are lying to our face. So they're proven liars. So why would you accept that anything else could possibly be true if we already have seen these lies firsthand?
Well said, Barry.
Can I
Because
add something?
at this point, it's just cognitive dissonance, or either you're blissful ignorance. You're just not wanting to accept it, but it's there in your face.
I look at both arguments, though, not just one.
I'm not talking about arguments. I'm talking about
It's an argument,
documented
dude.
facts. If I see a man on a wire harness in the ISS, that there's no opinion to that. That's like saying water is wet. It just is what it is.
You only need to catch one instance of them faking it, and it's game over. And there's multiple, tens of thousands of instances.
Yeah, but I listen to the explanations.
No,
What explanation do you? If I explain to you that water is, if I explain to you that water is dry and you touch it and it's wet, what explanation do you need?
No, like what you say, augmented reality is that what they use?
They use a combination of things, I think, but yeah, that's one of them.
Can you read what's
So
on screen?
why use augmented reality and wiring harnesses? Why the need to use that at all?
From what I've seen of augmented reality, you can't interact with things the same
That's
way
what
they
augmented
do.
reality is.
That's
Interaction in VR.
Yeah.
Yes, but
Yeah.
the way it reacts, it's
Did they
augmented reality
augment?
can't do that.
How does augmented reality explain wiring harnesses, Lincoln?
That's why people have sussed them out, because when they're doing augmented reality, it doesn't look right. That's why they've been sussed out, dude.
How do you explain like things going through people's bodies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why
Glasses of water sitting
people's
on
hands?
a
Mike's
table.
going into people's faces. You know, like
Also, like when you see a drip of water and the guy's this is augmented reality, and he's following the drip of water and he looks up and looks down, but in the drip his refracted image doesn't look up or look down. You know, things like that.
We went through these things thoroughly, man. Looking through them.
You
Yeah.
can see the reflection in a drop of water. How good are your eyes?
Well, you can see it gets inverted, doesn't it? The image gets inverted, and you see no movement in that. You know the one I'm on about. It zooms. It comes right up close to the drop of water, doesn't it?
I want to quickly show you something, Luca. Okay, and then I want you to tell me how many years ago this was. Okay. NASA taps Microsoft for latest augmented reality tests. Now, why will NASA need to worry about augmented reality tests, guys?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's something that
NASA
they
astronauts
use.
are getting one of the first cracks at Microsoft's HoloLens augmented reality headsets. They'll test the gadgets aboard the International Space Station as part of Project
Dum, dum, dum.
Sidekick, a program intended to increase task efficiency and reduce training time for astronauts on assignment. HoloLens can operate in remote expert mode, which connects the controller on Earth via Skype, who can see what the wearer sees through HoloLens's cameras, or in procedure mode, which uses local instructions and animations. NASA says this mode could be especially useful for long-duration missions away from the planet, where real-time video communication is less feasible.
Oh.
NASA will run another set of
Under the water too. Why would you need to show this
Wow.
under the
I know.
ocean? That's
I wonder
weird.
I
why.
don't know. I have no
Yeah.
idea.
HoloLens tests during Nemo Expedition 21 aboard the underwater habitat NASA uses to replicate space-like conditions. If this sounds familiar, it's
Anyway, guess how old that video is, guys?
Everything has everything has a reasonable explanation to it.
Anyway,
You're right, Luca. It does, and that reasonable explanation is that people are lying to you. That's the explanation.
About
Okay,
10
when
years old,
was that? When was
10-year-old flat.
How old is it, Flats? Tell
Yeah.
us.
9 years.
9, I was close.
Okay.
9 years ago.
Yes, it turns. So yeah, it did look about
And have you guys realized that through the 9 years have passed, they've kind of upped their game a bit? It looks a bit more.
Exactly. It looks better each year. I mean, come on. Compared to
Bill
what we
Sort
saw.
of, sort of like they are
Yeah,
making their technology a bit better.
exactly. We used to get stop motion spacecrafts turning like they're doing the robot, you know what I mean, and breakdancing and that. And then you've got today's where everything's fluid. You know, it's come on.
Isn't that what's
Hi
expected?
together,
though?
guys.
No.
Nice to be with you.
Hey
What's
Chris,
up,
good
Chris?
to see you, man.
Hi.
Hello, Chris.
Good to see you, man.
Hey
So
together.
anyway, can you read what's on Luca? Can you read what's on screen for us quickly?
Nice. Great to be
Nothing.
with you guys.
Science animator.
Okay.
So
Science animator. We are seeking an animator or CGI artist to illustrate the most mind-blowing Earth and space science stories in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Our team animators and
Hi,
data
Luke.
visualize
Luke
and
said
science
hi.
producers work on everything from advanced planetary missions concepts
How are
to
you, Luke?
new results from missions like Hubble Space Telescope.
Cooking in
Mm-hmm.
the kitchen? No, it was a just.
Well, also they
No, like
make the images look nicer. It doesn't mean they're
Animators
fake.
interested in working on the project from beginning to end will find this position rewarding. Duties include meeting with scientists and producers and developing the animation concept, storyboarding, model scene development, and following through to the final renders. You also assist in senior animators by creating models, rigging characters, setting up scenes, lighting, rendering, and compositing. I don't know. Don't you think that's a bit
sorry,
odd?
guys. I just want to
render?
tell you one thing. We are really kind of fucked up with the world. It's really getting worse and worse every day. It's just what I see, you know. It's really sad. It's going on.
Of course.
How are you doing, everybody together?
All good, Chris. All good,
Good,
bro.
man.
Good.
Everybody fine. Perfect time to get in. Thanks to be here.
Alric in the house. Good to see you, man.
Sure.
Hey,
Okay.
butter.
So far, Luca,
Yeah.
we've got through like one verse.
Yeah, one last
Yeah,
one.
we realize
Sorry.
that it doesn't show that it's not a. It does show that it definitely doesn't describe a globe because it violates the globe model for sure. But on the other hand, it doesn't describe a flat Earth, but it does describe modeled on a flat Earth.
Yeah.
So that's what we got there. And then, Luca, you admit then that the firmament is not fairy tale because there's more evidence for it than against it, correct?
Is there? Radar hasn't been able to detect anything.
You can detect gas, can't you? Gas
You
pressure.
can detect anything with mass.
I'm
but
saying
you can't
well,
detect firmament.
okay, you can detect gas pressure, can't you?
You can detect gas pressure, yeah.
Yes, you can measure it, can't you? So there's your proof.
Yeah.
There's your proof. That's all you need to know that there's containment.
It's a final
But-
embarrassment. That's weird.
But the firmament, you can't detect it.
You can't?
You can't.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Yes, you
Okay.
radar can't see anything up there.
We can detect the firmament, mate.
You
Because
must
we
see Mikey Smith's
What
videos.
tool? What tool can we use to
In 1957, they actually did use a couple of tools to measure the firmament.
What tools?
Have you ever, Luca? Have you ever heard of Operation Dominic or Operation Fishbowl?
I have. Yeah, they tried
No.
missiles. For a start, they tried
No.
missiles against it.
They fired missiles to.
Of course they did. That was an Operation Fishbowl, wasn't it, Barry?
Yeah.
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 Hey, Luca, I have a video where it describes what they actually use to determine the height of it. It's on my channel. If you want to look at it,
There's
it's
an old,
actually documented.
Come on, Luke. I went over this with you, bro. I've explained this all to you many times, many moons ago.
There's an old encyclopedia article somewhere that's been scrubbed,
looking
but back
for
in the 50s, it used to be in there.
Yeah, I'm looking for it quickly. Where the encyclopedia actually says when they went to Antarctica, they could measure how high it was.
13,000 feet at the edge, and it works its way.
Yep. In the encyclopedia.
Okay. So
Yeah, Britannica.
Britannica.
so how high? But some places,
What do you mean?
but
There is no
some
but.
no, some flat earthers say the sun is above the firmament. So
So
what's
what?
up with that?
They're
We
missing
say
it,
it's
maybe.
in the firmament, dude. Yeah.
Well, in the firmament, sure.
Yes. There's three
But
different
the
parts
sun
of it,
is
Luca.
the sun is only 3,000 miles up, not 15,000.
Nobody knows how high the sun is.
It's not 93
Yeah,
miles
but
away.
that's
It's
the
long.
consensus.
Nobody has taken a rope to the sun and measured the distance.
And nobody's touched it with their own hands or their own
Does-
feet or their any.
Does any flat earther want to measure the distance to the sun?
There's no way to measure the distance to the sun. We can't.
What is the sun? Yeah, what is the sun?
To nuclear
I can't tell you. I've
The
never
point
been
of
there.
light.
thing.
But Luca knows.
Yeah, it's a nuclear fusion reaction. That's the same people that told you that put it on a wire harness for you.
Nuclear. Can you show me that nuclear thing?
And show me one that's
Hydrogen.
constantly going. Cause a nuclear explosion and keep it going.
Pressure is so high.
And that's if we get past how somehow hydrogen coalesced into a ball on itself in a no pressure system. That doesn't even make sense.
Well, it has
They don't get it. Just check it.
Someone's leaking something.
Yeah,
That's
they
the
want
Yes.
that.
Can you put your thing on?
Sorry, it was
Please.
my notes. Sorry.
If you're gonna do that, mute, man.
Yeah. Anyway, look on screen. This is for you, Luca. Enjoy.
Do not make another debt repayment until you have
No, not
watched
that. That's
this
not for
video.
Luca.
Most people don't.
You guys remember how I showed you the maps that were here on Earth before 1958, before the governments took them out? And I'm going to show you the Encyclopedia Britannicas in the public libraries before 1958. Here's volume 2 out of the alphabet A. And we're going to flip to the Antarctica, and this is from 1958, as you can see. Now, we're going to flip to the Antarctica and see what the Encyclopedia Britannica from 1958, before the Antarctic Treaty, says is there. Now, you won't find this in the new encyclopedias because the government's banned them. But what I want you to notice right here is, notice how it says the flights proved inland areas to be featureless in character, with a dome 13,000 feet high at about latitude 80 degrees south, longitude 90 degrees east. Take a really, really close look at that. Now I'm going to zoom it in for you. When they returned to New Zealand, these flights proved the inland areas to be featureless in character, with a dome 13,000 feet high at about latitude 80 degrees south, longitude 90 degrees east. Now, if this doesn't make sense to you, let me show you with an image of what a flat earth map would look like. Now, this is what a latitude 80 degrees south would look like on a flat earth map. As you can see, the dome comes down closer to you over the wall, which will be about 13,000 feet. Now, if you go back out into the center of the earth, or up the North Pole, and try to go up to the firmament with a little bit of calculation, it's going to show that it's about 385,500 feet.
Oh, I just had to show that in the encyclopedia from that.
Yeah, distance.
Yeah, the Antarctica, what was it? Pantanica or something.
Britannica Encyclopedia, man. So, hey, Budded, what's up, man?
What's up,
guys? How y'all doing?
Hey, Butters.
Good to see you, man.
Good. So what would you think is the reason they would have that in the encyclopedia, Luca?
About the dome? I don't know.
Do you think the encyclopedia? Do you think the encyclopedia puts things that are fact in the encyclopedia, or do they just put anything just because for the fun of it?
Well, it might be not as accurate because in 1958 the land hadn't been explored as much as now.
So you moved to
That's
New
bullshit. 1958, they
Oh,
were sending people to the moon, apparently, Luca.
Wait, what?
Which roof
Oh
you
yeah,
had,
my
Luca?
bad.
Luca, are
Yeah,
you now a
that's
flat
right.
earther?
I thought it was okay. No, that's right.
Right, so you
Then I don't
Sorry, I
know.
have to
So,
interrupt. Luca, are you a flat
sorry, Chris.
earther?
Luca's argument's void. Let's move on.
Yeah.
So what was
Luca,
Man.
have you been lying to us this whole time? Because I think about a week ago, I remember your name. Luca became
Really,
a
he's
flat earther today. So what happened?
he goes random.
I think
it's
you
just that
lied more than the encyclopedia, my friend.
Look, bro, every physical
He
person in
gets
this don't
them.
paid
know.
for it.
They changed my name, and I just kept it.
Okay.
Okay.
Which part did they change? The Luca or the
Oh, there it is.
Luke is actually a flat earther. There you go.
So Luca, did you watch that 200 Proof of Eric Dubé?
Yes.
Oh, he doesn't believe Eric Dubé.
We did.
I think
You watched all
He
of
does.
them?
Yes.
And to what
And
conclusion you
I
came?
also watched Professor Dave's debunk of it.
Professor
Oh,
who?
come on, Luca, please.
He's not a
Hey,
professor, my
Luca.
friend. Come
Wow.
on. Come on.
He's
Wait,
not a
stop, right?
professor,
Because
he's
we've done this
a
other day with him. Let's not do it
No.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know. I know.
Anyway.
I do remember. Yeah,
All right,
I do
time out,
let's
remember.
go back
Luca. You're
onto
on
the-
time out. Let's move along.
Yeah, let's get back onto the
Okay, I'm sorry.
scriptures. Okay. So Genesis 2, verse 1, guys.
Yes.
Let me see if I can get it up on screen quickly. Genesis 2.
No, fine to see you around, people. We love you guys.
Thanks. Love you too.
Luca, you too. You're part of the team, but you're
You don't.
just a little busy.
Okay, again. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them.
Yeah, so it's
I
not
don't see how
expanding.
this says it's a flat earther.
No, it's not expanding. So therefore, it's a flat Earth because
Yep. I think we can say
In
by
that act.
default it's debunking the heliocentric globe model, but it's
yes,
not physically saying, look, it's flat. I mean,
it will correct.
yeah. But it is describing it based on the flat Earth model.
It does debunk Albert Einstein and relativity
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
in that aspect.
Even
So
upward rising Earth
I
too.
think that's why they threw it in there. But I mean, it doesn't say it's flat, so a lot of people get their biscuits buttered, and that'll be that. But
Pretty
Yeah,
much
because-
everything in the Bible disagrees with Einstein's theory.
Because Einstein's theory requires a ever-expanding universe. And we're actually appealing to all the Christians right now. If you're a Christian, you believe in the heliocentric model, how
Yeah,
can
when I
you
say a
believe in
debunk,
ever-expanding
I mean-
universe, creating new things constantly, when it clearly says the universe was finished, it's created. There's no more creation. There's no
Yeah.
expansion.
if you have biblical cosmology, it debunks it, but it doesn't necessarily debunk it in a scientific way. So let me clarify that.
Well, yeah, the Bible isn't really a scientific book. It's just and I think even you agree with that, right?
The
Flatzoid?
Bible doesn't have to be a scientific book to disprove your globe.
Yeah.
It's certainly not pseudoscientific, that's for sure.
Well, it doesn't say anything about bendy water. I know that. I'm pretty sure I've read most of it.
No.
It does, however, say that the Earth is immovable, that we got a dome over us, fixed.
It even says that herbs are good for you, and it's like a medicine. Like laughing is for a medicine. So, I mean, that could be
Laughing is the best
considered
medicine, yeah?
scientific. It could be, science can prove the Bible right, but It's not
Well-
scientific in a sense, right?
Yeah. Well, the next ones are very important. Earth's measurements unknown. Job 38, verse 5. Let's go.
Well, yeah, Care Bears are absolutely real.
Flats, you got to get me back on your daily list, if you don't mind.
That
Appreciate
sounds
it.
like an opinion.
No, I don't send it like that anymore because I put the link in the.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That
I was thinking,
sounds
no, I got
People
kicked
have
off.
been people have been behaving themselves.
Okay, good.
sorry. That sounds like somebody wrote it.
Well, somebody wrote everything if they're
obviously-
writing stuff.
yeah, the Bible was written, so obviously somebody wrote it. So yeah,
Yeah, that was an obvious point. I don't know why that even came up.
Quit whiting.
Ryan, did you get all your kinks worked out, my friend?
Yeah, and then someone tried to steal my trailer last night. It was quite an interesting experiment.
Yeah,
I fell
we're-
asleep
we're
about
live
8.
streaming.
I fell asleep about 8:30 Eastern time, and I woke up about 12:30 and was seeing who was on. I saw you were there.
Why is it not showing?
what
I don't
does
know.
pad mean?
Is it showing for you guys?
Yeah.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
something.
It's
There
not
we go.
showing for me.
Huh.
I have
Weird.
Was that
I have
people in
teenagers that like to
Oh.
take advantage of me going to sleep early. So I was making sure they were asleep. When I woke up, I just kind of happened to wake up, and then you force yourself out of bed. Once you get out, you can't go back to sleep for 2 more hours. So that's kind of where I was.
Right on. Cool.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay, so
all
let's
right,
move on.
go.
Job 38, verse 4. Where wast thou when I had laid the foundations of the earth? Declare if thou have understanding. Foundations.
So have you
that
heard the
means-
argument to this? The foundations of the earth. Have you heard the argument to that? So basically, they say, "Oh, the foundations are basically, yeah, we're on a globe. There's a foundation because it's round, and there's magma. There's other things that are under us, and there's a foundation, of course." That's what they say. Have you heard that? So that's a
No.
no.
The last
Okay,
time
so
I
they
checked-
say it's
last
not
time I-
necessarily moving. But they say it is moving because they actually say the magma is moving in a different direction now. It was moving in one direction, and now it's moving in a separate direction.
Are you aware of what polonium-238 is?
No.
No.
What is it?
You guys should look that up. It proves that
Yeah,
the
it's used for
core of the
nuclear
Earth could
fusion.
never have been molten.
Yeah.
Amen.
They
Right,
use
I
it for
wanna-
nuclear fission, guys. It's what's very bad. It's very radioactive. Anyway, I would agree that it describes. I would say this describes a flat Earth because a flat Earth requires foundation.
I'm just trying to give you the still man. That's all.
Mhm.
Okay. I agree that the Bible does describe a flat Earth.
Well, there you go.
Wait, what?
Pretty easy.
Wait, say that one more time. Say that slowly now.
Yeah.
I would agree that the Bible does describe a flat Earth.
There you go. Heard
Okay,
it from the
you
horse's
agree?
mouth.
Man, he has said this before, but it doesn't mean to say he believes the Bible. That's the thing.
He's not a Christian, so it doesn't mean
No.
anything.
They
But,
said it earlier, didn't he? Thinks firmament.
Anybody
sounds
who
like-
Praying for him, maybe.
God, I think.
Okay, say again, Michael.
They said it earlier. He thinks firmament sounds
I'm
like
doing
science fiction.
fine, guys. It's a nice night. And it's really cool to be with you.
Okay, cheers, Chris. Thanks for
I'm
coming,
really
man.
stoned at the time.
Take care.
I love it.
It's all right. It's good, dude.
Yeah, perfect.
Bye.
Okay,
Okay,
so
I'm
then
all
it
for
goes on to
I've ever-
38. Then it goes on to 38 verse 5. Who hath laid the measure thereof, if thou knowest, or who has stretched a line upon it? Ooh. Doesn't that also show flat?
Yes,
For me,
because
this
has
has
anyone
no
ever
personality.
laid cement before? You have to put down a foundation. So if you're going to lay the cement, you have to lay a line first, typically. And therefore, you need it to be flat because if it's curved over, your entire building is going to be curved. and it's gonna just more or less fall down like that Tower of Pisa, or whatever it's called.
There are these flat earthers, they say the earth is rising upwards. So we have this down motions, but it's always have to accelerate. It's always
Absolutely.
have to get
What?
faster.
So when my tree fell the other day, a couple weeks ago, the earth was rising. That's what caused the tree to fall.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Wow, interesting.
It wasn't equilibrium.
I thought it was just the wind and the hard rain and the softening.
That's gravity, I'm sure it's gravity. I'm really sure. Gravity and yeah.
Yeah, everybody's saying it's kind of over talking is getting quite hectic now, guys. I think we're gonna have to just try a bit. It's nice to have the panel on and everybody, but try and control yourselves a bit with over talking, please. Because people are getting kind of frustrated with it.
DJ, fine to see you.
Okay. Anyway, so I would agree that 4 and 5 definitely do describe a flat Earth. You guys agree with me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I mean, even 6 foundations there are fastened who laid the cornerstone.
Absolutely.
Always tells my comments. Welcome, guys. There are these flat earthers, they say
Oh, someone dropped. Okay.
Yeah,
Next,
Roger, he's going to work. It's Roger, he's going to work.
Okay, next. Job 38. Oh, no. I'll move on to Isaiah 40, verse 22. And Job 38, verse 13 to 14. That means Earth is a disc, a circle, not a ball.
it's flat and stationary, more than no. And it doesn't go deep because the Russian drilled the hole with 8 miles. They couldn't go farther. It's interesting. So why they know about the core and this shit, How?
Yeah, there's no core. Yeah, that's the thing.
No. Bullshit.
Definitely no core.
Religion.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, I guess at the end of the day, we realize that the Earth, those 200 verses they give, guys, it's not all 200 verses don't describe a flat Earth.
No,
but
so Luca, it must change.
But they do show against a heliocentric globe for sure. And if you take into context, a lot of them aren't actually even about the shape, though. You know what I mean?
It's a pleasure to be here. Really. Great guys outside there, really strange people.
Can you mute yourself when you're crumpling things up there?
Yeah, I just muted him. It's like hectic noise. Oh man, sorry, Chris. It's like hectic noise coming from you, man.
Oh, he was doing.
Can't even hear half the things you're saying there.
He was doing it, man.
I'm already awake one day, one night.
Biscuits.
Okay. Okay, let's get into something more exciting. Luca.
Yes.
Why? Can we ask you a very serious question? Well,
Okay.
what is your holdback about believing in God?
Hold back. Like what stops
Yeah,
me
what's
from
keeping you
believing?
from believing in God? Yeah.
Well, I don't think I'd say I don't believe in God. I kind of would like to, Yeah, I think God makes things more convenient.
God makes it convenient.
Convenient. Wow.
What does He make convenient?
heaven.
No.
No, that's
Can,
not.
can I ask you if God makes it convenient for the Christians to get slaughtered for their faith?
What? No, not that part. I mean, like heaven itself. Heaven would be convenient to believe
No.
in.
No, heaven is just the place where God is.
Well, don't people get into heaven?
Everybody goes either to heaven or separation from God, which would be hell. But it's your choice.
If you want to believe that everyone good goes to heaven, then that's
No
convenient.
one believes that.
No one is good. No one is good.
Then
I want to say
then
thank you, Roger Ledwell, for your $2 super chat. He says, Godspeed, gentlemen. You too, Roger, you rock. Thank you very much for your super chat. Appreciate all the support, man.
What do you think heaven is?
Heaven is just the place where God is. It's his dwelling.
location.
Yeah,
people
location.
but people can get into it, right? Like angels.
But there's a very specific thing you need to do to get there, though. But it's not about going there. That is the focus of it. I mean, God could be in Bermuda for all you care. It doesn't matter. I mean, God could go to Afghanistan and be his dwelling. It doesn't matter. The end of the day is heaven is just a place where God resides, and that's where you're going to meet with him and spend
It's a
eternity.
sinless place. It is somewhere that God can reside where there is no sin. He can't reside with us or he'll kill us. But he loves us, so he doesn't do that.
So
He'd obliterate us.
people that follow the commandments get into heaven, right?
People what?
No. To get to heaven, John 3:16 is very specific. It says, "Whoever so believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life." So you need to believe in Jesus as your Lord and Savior and announce him as it to get to heaven.
Confess it in your mouth and believe it in your heart that he died.
Even if you've sinned?
We're still sinners. Everybody's still sinners, man.
Yeah.
We still sin, but we do need to believe in the commandments. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
You can't.
And
the thing
we
is,
should strive to live sinless. So don't think that anyone can just get there now.
No.
We should strive.
the thing is, Jesus was sinless. And he came sinless to die for our sins, Luca.
Yeah. He fulfilled the commandments. You know what I mean? Fulfilled the law.
But fulfilled means exonerated or made more prominent.
Exactly.
I'd say that
He didn't fulfill all of them, by the way. Everyone says that there's 612 commandments, but Jesus didn't fulfill every single one because he didn't fulfill the ones that were like menstruation. Women's menstruation? How would he ever fulfill women's menstruation and being separated from her husband?
Did you hear Todd White's argument to that?
Yeah.
He became menstruation.
Oh yeah, Todd White. Yeah, he became.
So there are certain things that each person has been permitted, like an angel. Each angel has their own degree that they're supposed to be in. And we're supposed to fulfill a certain role, but we're not all priests. I mean, I understand where that comes. We're not all, we're not all women. We're not all men. We're not all so-and-so. So there's certain things that are permitted to us that we need to fulfill, and we should follow those things.
Absolutely.
It's not. If we go to the beginning of everything, it's not that I don't. It's not that I don't believe in God, because there's at least circumstantial evidence for God.
So you would say that you are agnostic.
I'd say that I'm on the fence about God. About my.
So it's possible he can't be real. That's what I'm saying.
So there's a chance he could be real. Yes.
Yeah, so agnostic. Okay.
Can I just read Romans 1:16 that Sergio put up?
Yes, please do.
It's in context with this. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God to salvation for everyone who believes, for the Jew first and also for the Greek. You know?
Mm-hmm.
For everyone, salvation.
And that includes you guys, by the way. Don't leave yourself short.
Well,
So
I
is that
still
is that what keeps you from believing God? Is that you just think heaven is just how can I
well,
put it?
no, I wouldn't say that. Not just heaven being. Well, I thought heaven was a place that all people good go to.
Nobody's good, man.
If that was the case, then it would be convenient to have their accomplishments acknowledged even after they're gone.
There's a
No.
scripture that says,
Wouldn't that
to
be
one to
convenient?
live for every man, and then judgment. So
Yeah,
we will
to have
live,
someone
and then we have
say thank
judgment,
you.
and then we are given the opportunity through the judgment, either by believing or not in God's Son, to make it there.
To get praised for the accomplishments that they made when they were alive. Now, I think that's pretty convenient. Because,
Well, how did you do it to Jesus? He says, if you did these things unto me, then you've done it. If you've done these unto the poor, the sick, the maimed, the so on and so forth, then you've done it unto me. So these are things that we should all strive towards to actually do. There are things we have to do, just like Abraham had to leave Uz, right? He had to leave his town. He had things that he had to do in order to get there, but we all have things to do. It's just whether or not we're going to obey or not.
but if it turns out that God, and I'd like to believe that atheists could get into heaven.
Of course,
No.
they can't get into heaven.
I'd like to believe it because.
Well, let me put it this way, Luca. I'm going to ask you something. If let's say you are, let's put you in a situation. You were hypothetically God now, and you created people, and they wanted nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
And you respected their choice.
Why would you let them in?
Would you why would they be with you in heaven when you respected their choice? They want nothing to do with you, because that would be going against their
Well,
they.
I think what he has to do is define atheists, though, because
I think
there are people that follow, even though they haven't read the commandments, they do the commandments because they're within their heart, right? And they will make it. They may be considered, as Luca is saying, atheist. So I don't know what he means by atheist itself. Atheist, in my mind,
that's just religious.
Against God.
But that's just religious. But that's self-righteous.
I'd say, as long as they haven't sinned, they
show me one person that hasn't sinned, Luca.
Everybody sins.
Pathag, God let them in, but everyone would just be pathag about it,
show me one person that hasn't sinned.
In your case, though, Luca, I would say there are people that have not known God that may make it in, because they may not have been introduced or heard. You have faith by learning, by hearing. If they haven't heard the message itself, but they do the things of what Christ did, they may make it, right? So in that case, yes, I think you're right. But in other cases that people are fighting against God, against the Father, against the Son, then we have issues. Then you're not going to make it. If you're continuing, if you have things presented to you that are truth, and you continue to go against the truth, how are you ever, like Jesus said to the Pharisees, he said, if you never believed Moses, how would you ever believe me? Moses talked about in Genesis 1 how the earth was created. So if you don't even believe in how the earth was created, how are you ever going to make it?
Yeah, in circumstances, you're right that as atheists won't get into heaven. But in other circumstances, then atheists could get into heaven if, God, God's not a monster. It'd still let them in. It'd just be like
Look, the only
forcing
way,
a
the only
thing
way
about it,
someone,
you know?
the only way someone like that would get into heaven is if they've never heard the gospel before. If they
And if
haven't
they're
had a
teachable.
choice,
Yeah.
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 If they
It
haven't
must
had a
be
choice to
teachable
accept
and
it.
proven teachable. That's the set point. Are you teachable? Are you teachable? I think that's God's rule. Are you teachable?
Like
Or are you just going to be stubborn, stiff-necked, and not listen to anything and completely backlash to every single thing that's ever presented that is truth? You are continuously pulling out just anger and resentment on everything and say, I know it all. That's a telltale sign you're not going to make it. In my
Like,
if you
like,
have
like
one,
Luca, like a baby, like that's innocent that dies. Say, a baby is going straight to heaven without a doubt.
yeah, and they also look at it, little kids. Look how they believe their
Yeah,
parents on
absolutely.
everything. And look at Christmas. I mean, they believe their parents because why wouldn't they? Because Santa Claus exists, right?
it's a white lie that people say that Santa
But
Claus
I
exists.
still haven't really seen anything which you're given a argument of why you don't believe God's, why you can't accept God of the Bible. I don't really get what your argument against him is.
I don't. I have no argument against him.
So then what's hindering you? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
He probably could be real. Yeah, he could exist. In the beginning of everything, he set everything into motion, and that way he could exist. But
He's close and he cares about you, Luca. He's close. That's the point. He is close and he cares about you, and he's watching.
Yeah, well,
He
yeah.
knows
If he
you.
does exist, he's there. He's close. Yeah.
And he knows you.
It's in every grain of dust, every speck of sand. Have you ever heard those sayings that people say
Yeah,
sometimes that
it's called
God's in every speck of
pantheist
dust?
belief. Yeah, pantheism.
Is in your prayers and when you pray to him. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Flats, I'll let you go. I'll be
No,
quiet.
No. I'm enjoying this.
I was an atheist, Luca, up until the
You
age of
were?
30. Up until the age of 30. Yeah.
Until the age of what?
30.
Gary.
30
Your
years
mama.
old. 30.
Oh, 30. Okay. I see. So what changed?
God put me through some really rough times. He had to take things away for me to understand that I need to cry out to him and put me on my knees.
Well, I actually want to know. Hi, Simon, but you can call me Peter. How's it going?
Here I am, Lord, send me. I'm good, man.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too, brother.
So, you've been hearing the conversation?
I've just jumped in now.
Oh, is that Adam?
Yeah, man.
Oh, how you doing, Adam? Good to see you, man.
Hi.
I'm good, brother.
Hey, bro.
Hey, bro.
Hello.
So I don't know if you want to. Is Luca? No, Luca's still here. I don't know if you want to try with luck with Luca. We're just trying to pin down what his issue is, why he has an issue with God. He can't give us one, but he's just.
I don't have an issue with God, though.
So, Luca, everything in the world has a purpose, doesn't it? A cup holds, it holds your drink. A fork helps you put food in your mouth. What's the purpose of the creation?
I've heard that people say that I have a purpose. I should have died, and I didn't. Probably because I have a purpose I have to fulfill before I die. Like
Yeah.
people that definitely should have died, but they survived somehow.
Well-
that I've heard that before.
Well, the creation testifies of a creator, doesn't it? And, you're very lucky. This is so interesting. If people don't believe in a God, what are the chances of us being born a human?
Probably one in a million or something. A billion?
Billion.
I don't know.
trillion, something like that, because you've got ants, you've got cells, you've got slugs, you've got all sorts of creatures that are autonomous. And then we win the lottery, don't we? And we pop out. But with the model that we're talking about, creation was made for us. So everything that you see was made for you. And the God that we serve loves you enough to give you everything for free.
I mean, there's circumstantial evidence for creation at the beginning, but there is actual evidence for um evolution.
Okay. I mean, that makes me laugh at evolution because
I mean,
when I grew up, I just used my brain and I looked at all the evidence around me and what the Bible said. And the Bible said they'll give after their own kind. So a big cat makes another big cat, small cat. They're all cats, aren't they? So, we can breed dogs, you can breed all sorts of things in a few generations, but you can't make one thing become another. And when you look at the skeletal record, you don't see a gradual change of things, do you? You
I
just,
have heard that from Kent Hovind,
yeah,
who
Ken Hovind's fantastic. So it's so obvious. Like if you want to believe in fairy tales and you want to believe in evolution and nothing has a purpose and you're just a lucky person, then I think that's a sad way of looking at things. But if you look with the brain that God gave you in the eyes, you'll realize, hang on, everything works together. He says that he gave us dominion over the earth. And he says that he loves you unconditionally. So Christianity, it sounds so good, it sounds fake. But it's not
it
about you,
is
is
a
it?
nice belief. It is. It is a nice belief. Yes.
Yeah.
But
And
just
what
because
it
it's
does
hard to
is,
believe
if God,
doesn't mean it's not true, right?
yeah. Well, you want God to be good, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I
Yeah, I would
wouldn't
hope
want
so.
him to not let atheists into heaven just because they're atheists.
Okay,
I wouldn't
but
want him to be a
Wait, what?
monster like that.
Lucas, if I knocked on your door, would you let me in?
I'd open it and ask what
I
your
said,
business is here.
exactly, because you don't know me. You've never
Yeah.
met me. You haven't even seen my face. Would you
Mm-hmm.
let me into your house?
Uh,
I love this.
Probably not. No.
Probably not. Okay, so why would God let you into his house?
Well, heaven. Uh, in the what I've heard of heaven, the most common thing I've seen from heaven is that it's where everyone lives. It's pretty
Yeah,
much everyone's home.
yeah. Have you ever heard of
know,
people who don't believe in God or don't believe in
or
Jesus and they die and they see
on
Jesus and he saves them out of hell?
or another thing is it's where you go to relive your greatest memories or something like that.
Okay,
You
that's a
know.
nice idea, but that's not what heaven says. It's a place where you're with God and there's no sin. Can you imagine if you were sinless, how beautiful that would be?
I mean, yeah, if I was sinless, that would be pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. No decay, no disease, no disability, no pain, no emotional damage. All of that. It's just
Well,
a place where God's perfect and you're perfect. And
even
it's
if
forever,
I
isn't it?
even if I was sinless, it'd still be disease.
Why would
I
there be
wouldn't be
disease in heaven?
immune to disease because
Well,
I was
in
sinless.
heaven you would be. In heaven you would be. You'd be
In
perfect.
heaven, you probably would be, yes,
Yeah.
because you.
So even what I'm explaining, doesn't that sound like something you would want to look into? Because if it's true, it sounds really good, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
So if I'm
yes.
selling you something, if I tell you, "Oh, do you want a car?" You're like, "Yeah, it's free. Yeah, that's cool." What if I said to you, "Do you want heaven? Which is more valuable, a Lamborghini or heaven?"
Heaven.
Okay, and how many years do people work for a Lamborghini? It's very expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an expensive car
Oh,
to make, I guess.
but you can't compare heaven with a Lamborghini because it's eternal, isn't it? Heaven's eternal. A Lamborghini will last 30 years and it'll be
Yeah,
rust bucket by the end. So
but
everything that went, sorry,
for
everything that went,
now, like right now, people can't really do anything with heaven at the moment, so they're sticking to things that they can do, and what
Yeah.
they can do is
Well,
make make evolve our technology.
no,
That's
but
what they can do.
what we could do is if you knew you were going to heaven, you could try and take as many people with you.
I mean, if I knew we were that heaven existed, I'd
Oh,
convince everyone else that it existed,
okay.
so that they actually wouldn't be scared of dying.
So what we basically told you today is the most valuable thing ever that you can even contemplate. If it's true, it's free. So we're not trying to sell it to you. We're saying, hey, buddy, if the Bible's true, you can look. If God's true, you can ask. You know, but you can know where you're going. It says, I write these things before so that you know you have eternal life. So everything that we believe in, we know. And we can test it. We don't have to leave our brain at home.
Luca,
I think.
have you ever witnessed death?
How can you test God?
Well,
How
okay.
can you
So
know
2
that God
seconds.
exists?
Okay, so
Here's a death. In the instance, have you ever witnessed death? Have you witnessed a person take their last breath, Luca?
I haven't witnessed death like that. I haven't seen a person die. I've seen people die through YouTube, but I haven't actually witnessed death personally.
Do you ever have a loved
I've
one that
seen after death. I've seen my uncle, I think, died, and my pop also died, and I saw their bodies after death, but I wasn't there
Well,
during their
that's not
death.
exactly what it's asking, though.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you
He
ever
said if I
witness it,
witnessed
Luca,
that.
I want you to, if you ever do witness it, and you may, I've witnessed it a couple of times, actually 3 times. So
Yeah.
if you see this happen, you will see those that are peaceful with God. They will take their last breath in the most peaceful rest. That they will
Like
just breathe out like relief, like a sigh of relief. It'll come out as a sigh of relief, and they will make their last breath.
well, that's
The others will
usually what
gasp.
happens
Those
when
that I
you
have
die.
seen that don't have a belief in God will gasp to almost try to take
no
their breath.
fear. They have a fear.
They have a fear because they know what's happening, and their eyes will typically they'll be
Why?
open, and they will see, you'll see the fear on their face. And I mean, once you
Yeah,
see that, that's a proof
Scary.
that God is real
I mean, I
and that
wouldn't.
belief is real. And it's
I
a
wouldn't.
terrible thing when you see somebody do that, because that
I wouldn't call
affects
that
your
proof.
soul from there on out. That you want to speak to other people, because when you see death happen like that, you want to speak out to these people.
I
That's
mean,
why a lot of Christians speak the way they speak.
I wouldn't call that proof. I wouldn't even call that evidence. I'd call that
Well,
circumstantial
Luca.
evidence, maybe,
Well, what
of
about the people,
a
Luca? What about people
past.
that actually died and came back to life again afterwards and said, I mean, there's a lot of people that were
I
atheists or
mean,
even
yes,
atheists, like,
I
and then
have
when
heard
they
that.
come back, they're like, okay, full blown Christians.
I just
Yeah,
hope to die in
I have
peace.
heard
That's all
that
I can say. I've
people,
seen it.
when they have died and come back to life, I have heard those people say, "Oh, I saw a light," or some. I have heard about that, yes, and that is a comforting thought, it definitely provides evidence that heaven could be real,
So
when you get
Lucas,
you
sorry.
get a few testimonies saying the same thing about how there's a light, or someone came down to talk to them and then they woke up, because they weren't dead. But yeah, it's definitely comforting that there might be something good to look forward to after death, and not
Amen.
just nothing.
Well, there certainly is something good to look to after death. But you got to be in Christ. You got to be in Christ.
If you're bound to heaven, yes. If you're bound for heaven, then there's something to look forward to.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Adam. You want to say something?
Yeah. So you're an atheist. You believe in things that you can see, don't you?
I wouldn't call myself an atheist. No.
Okay. Cool. So, I mean, do you believe in the gladiators? You know, in Rome.
Gladiators?
Yeah. You know, in history, we do history.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
By looking at the evidence, you've got the armor, you've got the Colosseum,
Mm-hmm.
you've got all these
Yeah.
things. Well, if the Bible was true, if something happens in the Bible, it would leave evidence like everything else in the world, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
it would, yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm not giving you, I'm not going to give you a fish. I'm going to teach you how to fish. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
if I tell you that every name, every place, every event that ever left evidence in the Bible is documented outside of the Bible, and all the archaeology, it's all there, then I will be telling you that you can open the Bible. You know, did Jesus walk on water? Don't know, mate. I wasn't there. They didn't have cameras. Doesn't leave evidence, does it?
No,
No.
it doesn't.
But if God said He destroyed 2 cities and turned them to ash, salted the earth, you know, and said He'll leave it there as a testament, do you think He'd be able to find 2 cities turned to ash?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we found that, haven't we? Or did you not know?
What are the cities that you found?
Well, they're called Sodom and Gomorrah.
More you've heard of that, surely.
Yeah, it's called Sodom and Gomorrah.
Oh,
You know.
I've heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
They got burnt down, yes, that's true.
yeah. So
And what,
those six.
they found them ashes?
Yeah. Well, why would they not find them if God said they're there? And you know, the Bible's like a map, isn't it? You know, tells you which direction they go in. It tells you the
Well,
dates of it roughly.
obviously, just because a place was, you know, if I wrote about London and that and you found London in this day and age, if I wrote about London in this day and age, you'd just say, "Oh, I was using that as inspiration
Okay,
as to what
that's
to
a
write about." You know,
that's a great
that doesn't
opinion.
mean that everything's true that
Oh,
I wrote.
so
I was
so
just using the place's name as inspiration.
okay. So what if I had made it a bit more difficult? What if I said God rained down brimstone and fire, balls of sulfur, and they were there to this day, and plants wouldn't grow inside the city, and everything would be turned to salt? Would that
Damn it,
make it a bit more difficult? Because that's not a
the
normal city,
balls,
is it?
the
And
balls
then
of
But we know
fire
that
raining.
happened.
The
yeah,
balls
so
of fire raining down sounds like meteorites
yeah,
to
but
me.
yeah, okay, that's interesting. I mean, what I'm not trying to do is tell you you're wrong. What I'm trying to do is tell you, hey, you know, we're talking about the most valuable thing in the world, and you realise that what if what we believe is true, there's nothing that you can compare it to because it's eternal and it's perfect, and nothing on here is eternal and nothing on here is perfect. And we've told you that you can test the Bible on any page. There's certain things you can't test, can you? Because Jesus walked on water. It doesn't leave any evidence, does it?
No,
No.
But,
that
but
comes by faith.
yeah, but lots of things do. So if you opened up the Bible and you read down and you find a name, a person, a place, well, then you could go find that, couldn't you? You could get on a plane and you could go visit it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the place's names are easy to explain. Just
Mm,
the people use them as inspiration. Yeah,
okay.
that's the people knew they existed and wrote about them. That
Mm,
doesn't mean that that doesn't mean anything supernatural.
okay. Well, there's no other explanation for these events other than the Bible's perfect, and the
The,
evidence would have to match it perfectly as well. So I just want to step up the stakes. I would not have faith, or it would shake my faith if the evidence didn't match up. And I'm not asking you to build. I'm teaching you how to fish. I'm not giving you a fish. I'm saying, hey, you could do that all the way through the Bible. Everything. and then the people outside of the Bible, they might have written about it as well. You know, it's not just confined to one book.
No, no.
You know, do you think that have you heard of the 10 plagues in Egypt?
No.
Okay, well, lots of things
There's
happen.
those carvings or something.
No, the plagues. He's
The
talking about
plague.
how
Luca,
Moses
do you
asked.
think we're all liars, Luca? Do you think we're all lying to you?
It's like when Moses asked the Pharaoh to let his people go, and he refused to, and he hardened his heart. And God let the plagues, like the locusts and the frogs, and the firstborn died. Those plagues. Have you watched The Prince of Egypt? In other words, just make it that way.
No. Sorry.
Okay, so
Wow. Okay.
so do you like superhero video films like Marvel and things like that?
I don't. I haven't. Maybe. No, not really.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
I'll admit it.
you know what's really interesting? Yeah, what's really interesting is the coolest book in the world is actually the Bible.
I agree.
It's so cool. Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, all combined, can't touch Jesus.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Not
they
only
can't.
that, every movie, every popular movie is based off of the Bible in one way or another.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, if you
You're absolutely right.
If you look at what the coolest, the coolest book is based on opinion as well.
Okay. Do you want to
Really?
find God?
Well, I don't know. It's the biggest selling book, isn't it, in the world? So maybe it's cool because of that. It's the highest selling book in the world.
I mean, the Bible. I'm
Have you
sure
read
the
it?
best-selling book in the world is.
He hasn't read it.
It's not
Yeah.
the Bible.
Well, it is. It's the best-selling book by miles, mate.
It is.
Week in, week out.
It is.
That's just a fact. It's not
Absolutely.
even up for discussion. Have you ever read the Bible?
I've read parts of it.
Okay. Have you ever read one book start to finish, or just tested the Bible?
I have read. I've read the. I've read Andy Griffith's books from start to
Whoa,
finish.
geez, you've read.
Andy Griffith.
You've read the verses we brought on screen too. Is that like you said?
I have read the verses you brought on screen during the beginning of the stream. I did read them.
Okay.
Do you know if you go to Revelations and you just read Revelation, I promise you'll be thinking, "Wow, this is like hectic MCU stuff, man." It kind of puts the Avengers to shame.
Absolutely.
I mean, yes, I would say that. I guess that would be true, and I also would say that the Bible would be considered the best-selling book.
The better thing about the Bible is you can choose which version you actually like and just start reading it. Eventually, you're going to find other Bibles that you might like better. Start with one you like and then compare them. And you always have a comparison to another Bible, and you always have a more complete story based off of each Bible you read. It's amazing because they might be in your mind different, but you can start to determine what is correct, and God will actually lead you to what is correct by reading different versions. Now, a lot of King James people, and I used to be, are going to say, "Oh no, King James only." But hey, go from whatever you like and let it just go from there. One's more like poetry. One's more like the message itself. One is ESV. You have the NIV. You've got God's Word. You've got complete, whatever one tickles your fancy, start there. And the same thing with Revelation. Go ahead and read that. I mean, Revelation itself is an amazing.
Oh yeah.
Think of that even in your Marvel kind of sense. It can expand your mind. Like, what does this mean? It will blow your mind.
I think at the end of the day, it's you have to decide: do you want to see God?
I
You know what I
have
mean?
seen
Luca, he's seeking you.
I have seen a simplified story of the Bible.
Do you
I've
know?
seen someone. The channel is redeemed Zuma, I think. That he goes over the different stories of the Bible. It's
Luca,
simplified.
Luca,
But,
have you ever? Do you like watching the news?
actually, he might. Yeah, he actually does go over the entire Bible. I
No, no.
guess.
Do you watch the news, Luca?
Do you watch the
Oh,
news?
um, not really. No, no.
Have you heard of that war in Israel?
I have
Okay.
from
Do you
my
know?
dad.
Yeah. Do you know that every single nation that's actually coming against them, it was written in the Bible? You know, if you
I
want to know what's going to happen tomorrow, you can read the Bible.
what's it say about the war?
Well, it
A lot.
tells you which everything basically. So the Christians at the moment are living in a time where the Bible describes everything.
Mm-hmm.
So
How
we
do you
know what's
know?
going. Because if it says something and then it happens perfectly and in order, it means the
Well, yes,
Bible's true.
then that could be called evidence for the Bible
For
being
prophecy.
accurate. Yes,
Yeah. So
a
so
prophecy.
a
Yes,
prophecy. Yeah. So I mean, the book of Revelation started to happen a long time ago. You know, in like
but
the
how do you know
1940s,
that the war is going? How do you know that it's a prophecy?
because it
Like,
tells
what
you
makes it a
everything.
prophecy?
Luca,
Tell me.
if I was telling people which countries were going to join the war next,
Uh huh.
and all I've got is my book, does that make me a really good intelligence army officer, or does that make me someone reading the Bible?
If you were, it could also mean that you you used knowledge as well
Yeah, the
to
knowledge of the
predict
Bible.
who would join the war.
Luca, the most beautiful thing in this conversation is if we're right and you're wrong, and you can say, I didn't know that, that sounds correct. That if we win, then you win as well. Because if we win, you go, oh, they were correct. Then you go, wow, I can get to go to heaven and know God. So you actually
I
want us to win, don't you?
I wouldn't say that it's prophecy. I would say that it's logical prediction.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
Luca, these books are written,
Prophecy.
there's 66 different books, and they all point to this time in small.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Oh,
Sorry about that.
no, no stress.
Oh,
But
am I
Luca,
back?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you're back. But
yeah.
Luca, based on the prophecies, do you
1, 4.
know? Let's take for instance
Hello?
David. I can hear you, Adam. Can you hear us, Adam? Okay, he
Oh.
dropped.
Stupid one.
Anyway,
Gone.
while he's gone,
Interrupt.
I mean, let's for instance take David. He lived 1,000 years before Jesus. Okay,
Uh huh.
and you can simply see in Psalms because David wrote Psalms. He wrote about Jesus and how he would get crucified in a very detailed manner, exactly how he would get crucified. How is that possible 1,000 years before Jesus?
I know. How is that
Yes, if
logical?
it happened that far back, you could say it's a
It's not.
prophecy.
It's a prophecy. It is
You
a prophecy.
would say that would be a prophecy if it happened 1,000 years ago.
They're
Yes.
called
Yeah,
prophets. They say
lots upon
it did happen.
in the Old Testament, they're called prophets. It says that thus saith the Lord. They're prophesying
But
to the Lord.
unfortunately,
The prophets of the
un-
Lord. They've been made
unfortunately,
prophets
the
by
thing
the Lord.
is,
Look at. They've been made prophets by the Lord. So you can't say how whatever they say, and it comes to his prophecy. They were known as prophets. You know, you can't just say it's logical deduction.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
unfortunately,
how do you do logical predictions 1,000 years before the person even exists on Earth?
unfortunately, the thing about that is
What are the odds?
there are at least two factors to consider: whether or not that part was just a story, or the other factor to consider is if it was written before or after the event happened. Because if it was written after the event happened, and we were just led to believe it was before the event happened, as described, then it wouldn't be a prophecy anymore.
You're
Because
jumping through a load of
it was
hoops.
written
You're jumping
after.
through a lot of hoops. You're doing a lot of mental gymnastics there, dude.
Because there's the two main factors to consider. They're pretty main. They're pretty main factors to consider. So as long as you can debunk both of those factors, then I'm willing to say that it was prophecy.
Okay.
Hey
I'm gonna
Luca,
go
have
to
you ever
Psalms.
watched the stream afterwards and watch yourself and listen?
Okay, I'm gonna quickly. We're gonna go through Psalms 22 quickly. Okay, Luca. Now, Psalms was written by David 1,000 years before Jesus was born.
Oh, so it says.
No, it was written 1,000. This is in the Torah. The Torah was written
How do you know
before
it was written
Jesus was
1,000
even
years
born.
before?
The Torah was written before Jesus was even born, man.
How do you know that?
Because King David lived 1,000 years before Jesus.
And Jesus read scripture. Jesus read scripture. Jesus read scripture.
But
What do you mean? How do we know?
Just like Aristotle. Just like Aristotle, you don't believe Aristotle was actually a real person, so how do we know King
No,
James?
King David.
That's because
there's
we don't have
actual
a bunch of
historical
people confirming it.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
actual
but we
historical
have a book.
documentation that David existed and Jesus, and this actual historical documentation is in the Bible, in the Torah. It's everywhere
It's
today.
in the Bible. Yes,
This
but
literally,
the Bible is
Psalms
under threat.
22 was written by David 1,000 years before Jesus was even born. So can we go through it quickly a bit so I can explain to you how it depicts Jesus' crucifixion in very great detail?
Okay.
Okay, and then you can tell us how.
That's the thing.
How is this possible?
Under.
Yeah, then you can tell us how this is possible if it's not divine, if it's not based on God and things. Okay.
Okay.
A cry of anguish and a song of praise to the chief musician upon the Elijah Sahar, a psalm of David. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? What did Jesus say when he was on the cross, guys?
My God, my God.
Yeah, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani. My God, why have you forsaken me?
That is what Jesus said on the cross, by the way, word for word. Okay?
My God, what?
Why have you forsaken me?
Oh my God, I cry. Why hast thou forsaken me? Okay.
Yeah, Jesus said this on the cross. Okay, so it says, why art thou so far from me and from my words of my roaring? Oh my God, I cry in the daytime, but thou hearest not, and in the night season I am not silent. But thou art a holy, art thou the inhabitants of praises of Israel? Our fathers trusted in thee, they trusted, and thou did deliver them. They cried unto thee and were delivered. They trusted in thee and were not confounded. But I am a worm, and no man reproach of men, and despise the people. All that they see me laugh to scorn, they shoot out the lip, they shake their head, saying, He trusted on the Lord that he would deliver him. Let him deliver him, seeing he delighted him. But thou art to that took out of my womb, thou dost make me hope when I work. Let me put in New King James for him. I think he's gonna get confused.
I really like God's word if you haven't read it. It's really easy to understand. It does a pretty decent job. New believers, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Psalm 22:10. I was cast upon you from birth, from my mother's womb. You have been my God. Be not far from me, for trouble is near, for there is none to help. Many bulls have surrounded me. Strong bulls of Bashan have encircled me. They gave me with their mouths like a raging and roaring lion. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart is like wax. It has melted within me. My strength is dried up like a potsherd, and my tongue clings to my jaws. You have brought me to the dust of death, for dogs have surrounded me. The congregation of the wicked has enclosed me. They pierced my hands and my feet. I can count all my bones. They look and stare at me. They divide my garments among them, and for my clothing they cast lots. But you, O Lord, do not be far from me. O my strength, hasten to help me. Deliver me from the sword, my precious life from the power of the dog. Save me from the lion's mouth and from the horns of the wild oxen. You have answered me. I declare your name to my brethren. In the midst of the assembly, I will praise you. You who fear the Lord, praise him, all you descendants of Jacob. Glorify him and fear him, all you offspring of Israel. For he has not despised or abhorred the affliction of the afflicted, nor has he hidden his face from him. But when he cried to him, he heard. My praise shall be of you in the greatest assembly. I will pay my vows before those who fear him. The poor shall eat and be satisfied. Those who seek him will praise the Lord. Let your heart live forever. All the ends of the world shall remember and turn to the Lord, and all the families and the nations shall worship before you. For the kingdom of the Lord is the Lord's, and he rules over the nations. All that prospers the earth shall eat and worship, and those who go down to the dust shall bow before him, even he who cannot keep himself alive. I posturally shall serve him. I will recount to the Lord next generation. They will come and declare his righteousness to the people who will be born that he has done this. But anyway, I want to point out very simple things where he was going here.
Everything there, I mean, dividing the garments, pierced feet, you know what I mean?
That happened.
Yeah, it all happened. Dividing the garments, I mean, the threw lots and divided the garment. The dogs are probably the Roman soldiers, aren't they?
Okay, let's see. Let's just start here. They gaped me with mouths like raging and roaring lions. Do you know they cursed Jesus to kill him, to get him crucified. They let a very bad man go in Jesus' place so he could get crucified.
Yep. They let a murderer go.
They let go.
Because they classed him as a blasphemer. So they let a murderer go, Barabbas, let him go instead of Jesus, who had never done anything wrong.
Look at let me quickly lay down the story for you. Let me quickly lay down the story for you. Look, they brought out a guy called Barabbas. Okay, he was a known murderer. Okay,
his name means another Jesus. That's what it means. Barabbas means another Jesus, another Savior.
Yep.
Right. Go ahead.
But what happened is then everybody cried out, raging and roaring like a lion. They were hateful towards Jesus. They let Barabbas go and let Jesus get crucified in Barabbas' place.
He was a murderer and a rape.
Yep, exactly. And then it says, I am poured out like water. Do you know why that was? Do you know what they did to Jesus? They flogged him. They called it the half death.
I mean,
you know what flogging was? The half death.
No.
It was almost like a whip on with like metal parts and bones and things that could scratch it literally opens that they can get to your rib cage and everything. They they beat you to till you're half dead. That's what they call the half dead. And it says, and all my bones are out of joint. So you could see his bones, and the
yes,
bones.
But that's no different from olden day execution, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people got executed.
Do you know? Wait. Do you know there was no crucifixion when David? There was no crucifixion yet when David lived.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how was he getting these details for crucifixion if there was no such thing yet?
Mm-hmm.
Was it written before or after?
1,000 years before Jesus.
Told you this.
As it says, but how do we know that's actually true?
Yes, it is true. There's actual real documentation for this.
That's not in the Bible?
Yes.
Actually, what you have to do, Luca, is you're going to have to go back and also go through Psalms and find out the other Psalms themselves. And there's historical evidence in the Psalms of when they were written. Yeah. So you can understand that also Isaiah lived at a specific time. And you can go through
Isaiah, the same thing. Very detailed as well.
Very detailed on when they lived and when these things happened. So that's how. And you can even ask Chat GPT if you want to. When did Isaiah live from the Bible? I'm sure they'll tell you. And when did David live from the Bible?
Yeah, but you
I'm sure
can't use the Bible.
Chat GPT, your favorite, will actually show you these things.
Yes, I'm sure it would, but it would tell me what you're saying is true. But the question that you can't use the Bible because using the Bible won't tell you if the Bible is actually
That's why
if
you
it was
use
written
outside
before or
sources to
after.
double check, correct, Luca?
What?
So again, like you like to use Chat GPT, so you can go to an outside source and verify that the Bible is correct. That's all I mean.
Okay. Well, okay. I'll go to let's say.
Ask him when King David lived. There you go.
Well, anyway,
yeah.
I don't know if you know who.
When did King?
Sorry, Flats, I got you down there. But I just wanted to verify because it's a step by step. You understand? Because he's gotten questions, so
Yeah.
I'll even give him his favorite there, ChatGPT.
He
when did King David of the Bible?
Yeah, according to biblical accounts, lived around 1000 BCE.
Read that, Luca.
Yeah, so 1,000 years before Jesus was born, because he was born approximately 30 BCE.
Yeah, read what Sean had to say. Luca, read what Sean had to say about you. And it's true. It's absolutely true.
What did Sean?
Well,
Luke doesn't apply that
screen.
standard to any other history book he has ever read. He assumes its accuracy and authority immediately. Well, no, but other people have verified it, so.
No, there's no one ever. Okay, anyway, do you know who Caiaphas is, Luca?
What?
Caiaphas.
Caiaphas.
He's the main Jewish priest who condemned Jesus to death.
Oh.
Caiaphas. So I can't really pronounce his name. That's right, Caiaphas. Is that how you pronounce it? Anyway, he even had a last testament before he died. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. So anyway, it talks about how his inflictions on how he actually regretted that he might have made a mistake with Jesus' death, sending Jesus to death. Well, anyway, you see all these notes in the bottom here. These are all notes based on Book of Antiquities and different books and stuff. That means all documentation about Jesus' death from Caiaphas. You understand that?
From the person?
Different documentations about Jesus' death based just by Caiaphas alone.
Yeah, and I also put it in a private chat for you if you want to look up Caiaphas. It's on Wikipedia.
But anyway, we can look at Pontius Pilate.
But can I just add, like, amount of scholars and people who've tried to debunk Bible, who've all looked into it, have all come to understanding that they can't.
Mm-hmm.
There's more verification for Bible, Luke, than all that you'll ever read.
They can't debunk the Bible, but they can't verify it.
No, they can't debunk it. Show us anywhere you can debunk the Bible. Even
so many
atheist
scholars have verified it. Like it's not even an argument to be having.
Any scholar would laugh.
The geocentric model.
Any scholar would laugh you out the room if you had to say Jesus was not an actual figure or his death was not. I mean, this is like even atheist and Jewish scholars would laugh you out the room.
Yeah.
Aren't scholars still up for debate on that?
No, it's literally there's more documentation for Jesus' death and resurrection than there is for Julius Caesar.
Luca, once you realize God loves you and he has to spank you a few times and he puts you on your knees, I promise you, you're going to find that love. And I suspect it's going to be sooner than later because you're on here. I really do.
Oh, yeah. I do feel God is tugging at
here.
your heart, man. That's why I felt necessary to talk to you about this.
That's why this information is coming out, Luca. It's not.
Ruach Hakodesh. We're spending more time on you than the actual subject. I mean, my God, we love you.
God is talking to you. It's God. It's not us. It's God. Yes, we're literally talking to you.
But anyway, remember the point we're making as you said, if we can show prophecy. Okay?
Yes.
And there's many prophecies that we can show. This is just the one. How would you claim the book's not just a fantasy if it's able to make prophecies 1,000 years in advance?
And in the private chat, I put Isaiah 53 for you, my
Make
friend.
1,000 years in advance.
Isaiah 53.
Yeah. And I put it in the most easy way you could read it, in my opinion. When I read it, I say,
have you ever looked at like debate like animes or movies or something, and like Phoenix Light or something, just for an example, as like in season 1 a topic could come up in the court, and then in season 5 it could come up later in that in usually that's what happens, and
That's
then
an
you go,
absolutely
oh, I
terrible,
remember that.
that's a terrible analogy.
I know, you're talking about
Because
movies.
that first episode is wrote by same.
well, it's okay
people.
because all movies and all things are based off of biblical aspect.
No,
It's usually
no,
just turned
you're
upside
trying
down.
to explain prophecy in the scenario, like they write an anime and in first episode, the Testament, and then it's like fulfilled in fifth episode. It's not. That's a terrible analogy because
Stupid. It's written.
there's literally like thousands of years in between books.
I know.
Was that book written first or later?
Well, there's Old Testament.
I mean, obviously that was written first, right? Because it was written 1,000 years, right, or something like that.
Guys,
But
I
yeah,
have to leave. I've got to take my son to piano
It's a
practice.
good analogy, in my
Awesome.
opinion.
All right, later.
But it was good seeing you, by the way, man. You
Me
rock
too.
on, Giza.
Nice bless you, man.
It's a bad analogy, Luke, because it's like in a very short time scale, and the same people who are involved with writing it are writing the whole series. It's not the same with Bible. There's multiple writers separated by
lots of
tens and if not hundreds and thousands of years.
While that is fair, I think it did have like 42 different people writing it or something.
About 40 authors of the Bible, yeah, about 40.
Yeah, about 40, yeah. That's right. 40, yeah, and they were different.
1,500 years to write, all in all. Yeah.
And they all wrote the same things. Odd how that works, eh?
I mean, they were using the same. Were they using the same Bible or different?
In order to have any validation, you'd have to prove that, like, the same people who wrote Old Testament wrote New Testament. I'd like to see how you go about proving that.
Completely different styles. I mean,
Yeah, it's
different
difficult
styles of
because
writing.
yeah, it's difficult because the Torah and stuff came long before the New Testament, before Genesis was written. Remember, the Old Testament was written in Hebrew and Aramaic. The New Testament was written in Greek.
Exactly. And Paul wrote differently, different writing styles. Wrote differently from John. John wrote differently from Luke. You know what I mean? They all wrote differently.
It was still the same Bible, though. They just continued the story.
Still the same Bible today.
Yeah, but they just continued the story in the same book, right?
It's not a sequel type thing going on here.
The Old Testament is before Jesus. The New Testament is after Jesus. That's all.
That's all it is. It's a new covenant and the old covenant. That's it.
So the New Testament is a sequel to the Old Testament.
It's not a sequel, dude. It's not a sequel.
It's the same.
It's just to carry on.
It's fulfillment. The New Testament is fulfillment of the Old Testament. That's why the Jews today don't trust in the New Testament, because they don't think it's been fulfilled yet.
That's right. They're waiting for the first coming. We're waiting for the second.
So why hasn't anyone continued the story in the Bible?
What do you mean? Where's
Like
continued?
Bible just ends, right?
It doesn't end. It ends with Revelation saying till the judgment day and everything, and the new reign and everything. So what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
so that's how
We're
the
still in
story ends.
prophecy. We're still in that prophecy,
Yeah.
prophetic time.
Not everything's been
Or
fulfilled yet. Not
it
everything's been.
leaves us hanging. Like
Doesn't leave
when's the
anybody
revelation
hanging.
gonna
It
happen?
tells, it tells you exactly
It,
what's
it
going to happen.
it
We know
doesn't say
exactly what's going to
when
happen,
the
Luca.
revelation's gonna
Doesn't
happen.
say
It
when.
just says
No, it doesn't
it
say
is
when.
going to happen.
Yeah, it doesn't say when. No. It's
Yeah. So it
intentional.
leaves us hanging a bit there.
Can you
No,
imagine? Can
it
you
does.
imagine if you knew exactly when you were going to it was going to happen? Imagine the madness it would cause. I mean, the world's mad enough as it is.
It does. It does give you signs and wonders you can see when the time will be, and we're seeing those signs and wonders at the moment.
Definitely.
What signs?
Even the
Though?
Euphrates is busy
Drying up.
drying up.
What signs?
You know, the
Like
Bible predicted that as well, Luca, that the Euphrates will dry up.
Wars, rumors of wars, things like that, floods, famine, all of that, all of
Amos
those
8:11.
to pass already.
Mhm.
All of these things are going to pass. Not
I mean,
everything.
even NASA actually validated the Bible. Do you know this, Luca?
what?
They validated when Joshua asked God to stop the sun from moving. They actually had NASA going and
But
looking through history and
yeah.
saying they were able to validate that there's a day that is longer.
You've got like, you have all these questions, Luca, and like trying to come up with ways to like go against it and that. Why don't you just read it?
Mhm. Honestly, it really would be a good idea. You just try to find any way out of it, any way you can. It's like you're scrambling. It's like It's like you're one of them rats inside of a tin pail. You know what I mean? And there's someone's got a blowtorch outside of it, and you're scrambling like try to get out of it, any way you can.
Didn't NASA validate the age of the Earth to be about 13.8 billion years old? I mean, that contradicts the Bible.
Yes, of course it does.
So NASA validated that the
There's,
Bible is incorrect.
No,
there's there's absolutely no way to validate
no.
millions of years, Luca,
How can you validate something
in
you
any
haven't
way,
done?
shape, or form. Carbon dating is don't even. It's not even possible to work things out at that age.
Hmm. It's
So,
ridiculous.
so you
You've
can't
just,
say
you've been led down a garden path,
NASA
mate.
validated the Bible
It doesn't.
when they validated the opposite to be true.
They haven't validated anything. By doing what?
Why do you have more faith in like
In
this
bullshit.
heliocentric bullshit, and you don't have any logical implications of, look, this is what the Bible says, here's the evidence, literal evidence that it's prophesied and fulfilled. You don't want to see that, but you want to believe in things that's unverifiable based on nonsense that violates natural law.
It's always been, you know what I'm gonna say. But even if that, if you were gonna look at, if I was gonna believe the Bible, I'd have to see. If I was gonna believe the prophecies in the Bible, I'd have to see it make a prediction in the past and have that prediction come true thousands of years later.
Been done.
So
There you
even
go.
Sean is the same as me. Here's Luca
Okay.
immediately taking NASA as an accurate and authority without even questioning them.
Exactly.
Well, it's always been verified. So.
How is
There's
it?
nothing verified from NASA.
Why don't you question it? Why don't you question it just because you think it's been verified? Why don't you question it?
But it hasn't been
Because it's
verified.
been
Why
verified
don't
by
you?
many people.
Why don't you question that verification?
It's been verified by at least 1 million people.
Like who? What's been verified, by the way?
Look,
Bring me one verified thing up by NASA, please.
They've been to space.
You seem to be so
So it's happened again, right? We've gone a full show and we've
Mhm.
just spiraled straight back round to the first thing we were talking about with you, Luca.
yeah. Exactly.
This is getting boring, mate. As much as
No, I mean that the verified it's a globe.
no one's
No.
been to space, mate.
Never.
At least a million people would have to be lying,
No.
right?
No.
How do
Yes.
you work that
Where
out?
do you get them that
But
amount?
anyway,
That's
you
just
take us
conjured up
back
out
off
of
the
their head.
point. Yeah, you take us back
Yes.
off the point. The thing is, Luca, you haven't noticed the whole night. You haven't really given us a reason to say why you doubt that God exists.
And did you see how
I
panicky?
don't.
Hold
I
on, hold on.
don't.
Do you see how panicky you are about questioning the Bible? This,
I
that, this,
don't
that.
doubt
Hold
he
on,
exists,
Luca,
though.
Luca, Luca. Do you see how panicky you are and how pedantic you are about questioning the Bible? This, that. What about this? What about that? I question this and I question that. But when it came to NASA, you didn't question anything at all, just because
That's
it's been
already been
verified.
said.
Just because it's been verified.
But the Bible's
I
been verified. That's that thing. The Bible's been much more verified than anything NASA's presented.
not
Yeah.
really,
Yes, really.
How would you know, Luca? How would you know?
because what
Have
people
you
have
bothered to look
verified
into
contradicts what
whether
the Bible says is verified.
have you bothered to look into what verifications are for Bible? Who's looked into it? What scholars have worked on it? Have you bothered
The
to look into that?
verification for the
How would you
Bible
know?
is the Bible in your case.
What?
The verification for the Bible is the Bible in your
No.
case, right?
No,
No.
that's the verification for prophecy you're on about.
I can show you
But
a
you
whole
can't
bunch of
use the
manuscripts,
Bible to.
Luca. We can show you manuscripts from different type of atheists, Jews of the day, of pagans, everything, showing verification for everything in the Bible. So I don't know why you're coming with the verification is the Bible. Do you know that NASA is the verification for NASA?
No, they're not.
Yes, they
Because
are.
you have at least a million people confirming what NASA said. Oh, what NASA already confirmed to be true, you know?
Okay, can you show us dark matter, Luca?
Dark matter is just a placeholder.
Is it verified, Luca?
It's dark matter. If you already know something to be
Okay,
true,
yes or no question. Is dark matter verified, Luca?
kind of.
No. The answer is no.
Wow. Be honest, man. I mean, how can you be
I
kind of
can't.
verified?
That's not really a
Do you
yes or
know
no
why they need
question.
dark? Do you know why they need dark matter, Luca?
Because it makes sense.
No, it's because if they don't have it, your globe falls apart. Everything they know about orbital mechanics and gravity falls apart.
It's just a placeholder, though. So
No,
it's not a
it's
yes or no
it's the guard of
question.
the gaps. It's literally put there because you guys made a belief system that's based on not facts. So they're trying to make something to fit the facts, even though it's been shown false. And they can't even validate that now. So now they're sitting with a bigger picture of, hang on, we got an issue. Dark matter is starting to rip your guys' model apart little by little because there
If
is no
if
verification.
if you knew something was going around, if you knew orbital mechanics, right,
There is
and
no
you knew
orbiting,
something,
Luca. You guys believe there's orbiting because that's how you believe it to happen. That's not saying you have faith that it's orbiting. You are told it is. You say, oh, look, it looks like it's orbiting to me, so therefore orbiting. The fact is,
all right,
orbiting is debunked thanks to dark matter. If dark matter is unverifiable, which it is, it shows you your whole theory, quote unquote, about gravity and orbital mechanics is wrong. That debunks your globe, that debunks everything you stand on, debunks everything you guys have claimed to be validated.
dark matter is just invisible matter or something like that.
Then you
It's
No,
matter that
dark
can't be
matter is
seen.
massless matter, in other words, Luca.
What?
Dark matter is supposed to be massless matter.
massless. How do you detect something that's blooming massless?
Well, you can't detect something
Well,
that's
how do you know
not
it's
there.
true? So how do you know it's real? Exactly. Exactly, dude. The point taken. Surely.
Yeah, but dark matter's just a placeholder.
A placeholder.
The point I'm making about dark matter, Luca, is there's no very valid or verifiable anything you guys claim.
Not yet.
No, not yet. There isn't. You have faith. Your religion is based on faith. Our quote unquote not religion, because I don't like that word religion. The Bible is not based on faith alone. It's based by historical evidence and validation.
And you just said not yet. Not yet.
You
That's
can't
it.
use.
Hold on, not yet. You just said not yet. That's the epitome
Yeah.
of faith. Not yet. That's faith. Not yet. You're expecting, but not knowing.
Well, yeah, obviously
That's faith.
Obviously, given enough time, they'll figure it out. So yes, not yet.
Figure it out. So it's not validation. Then let's see if we can make
validated. No, not yet.
Yeah.
Nothing's been validated yet.
Do you know why they keep making bigger and bigger particle accelerators, Luca?
Why?
Because they can't detect dark matter, which they need for your globe model to work. Dark matter is literally the thing you guys need. If you can't detect it, it debunks your whole heliocentric view. And that's why they keep trying to update the technology, quote unquote, to make it magnitudes finer to be able to detect something, and it doesn't detect anything because it doesn't exist. Instead of saying, okay, guys, maybe we were wrong, they carry on trying to validate something that isn't real.
Right.
Okay, assuming the discovery of how they discovered that Neptune was correct using orbital mechanics and Einstein's thing.
No.
Assuming that's correct.
No one observed, worked out Neptune. They observed Neptune before they calculated based on observed.
They didn't know, Willie. They didn't know.
You think
that
there were astronomers, dude. They literally looked in the sky. It was telescope. They had astronomers of the day. Okay, they
but they didn't know what they were looking at was actually Neptune at the time.
Doesn't still mean it's Neptune today. It's just a name you gave it. It's a name they gave it. Yeah. It's a name they gave a light in the sky, Luca.
That's what they did.
Well, assuming back to the assuming the discovery of Neptune was actually correct, then dark matter, if they did the same thing with dark matter and they looked in a place where they knew something should be and saw nothing, then they'd have to work out why there is nothing there. And so they came up with a placeholder, dark matter.
No.
Yeah, God of the gaps argument. I guess we're going to end it. Yeah, I guess we're going to end this, because Luca is trying to just ignore the actual argument presented.
What was the argument?
I wanted to ask Luca if he just believed what theists told. Everything he believes is something a theist came up with. Does he know that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think the issue here. Sorry, just jump in, guys, but I think the real issue is just that, Luca, I believe your religion and church is that of science, and science is a guess by man that's never been proven for a large part. No, you believe your religion is pseudoscience, sir, is what I'm trying to say.
Is theist an atheist or what? Is that short for atheist?
You don't know what a theist is, Luca?
No, what's that?
A theist, I believe, if someone wants to correct me, that would be somebody that believes in a creator God, for simple terms. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So
theist, right, Luke? Does that make sense?
The globe was thought up by theists.
Like a Christian is a monotheist, believes in one God. Pagans are polytheists, believe in many gods. A theist is
so it's just
a god. Yeah.
So a theist is just
right. Lucas,
a god. Yeah.
Like the Big Bang, right? George Lamette was a Catholic priest.
So a theist. Yes, a Christian did come up with the Big Bang. Yes.
A Jesuit. He wasn't Christian.
Do you find that
I mean,
ironic, Luca, that everything you believe comes from a theist's mouth? Is that ironic?
A theist is like any religion,
A
right?
Catholic, right? So everything you believe. So everything you believe, Luca, comes from a theist.
Not everyone
right?
is a theist. Not everything is from a theist.
Yes, from theists. It was from theists.
What?
Look at the entire model that you believe in is based on that. It all
Creation.
comes from
It's
the
not any
church in some form.
Like the Greeks believe it, Mesopotamia believe it. I'm just pointing out this fact, Luca, that no attribute to any part of your scientific belief, your so-called scientific belief system, that they're all theists that contributed to your belief system, not a single atheist.
Mm-hmm. Have you not realized that atheists just hinge off of taking theists?
School to study to be a
everything is based off of hijacking theistic ideas and beliefs.
Like I posted, NASA does not hold theistic or religious beliefs.
NASA's based on theistic.
Can I answer that then? So why is everything named after gods and stuff like that then, Luca, if there's no religious belief involved?
It's just continuing on the trend.
That's not an answer, is it?
No, it's not.
Why is everything named after false gods when you say that they've got no theistic
Luca,
belief?
can you name one thing? Sorry. Let me know when I can ask a question. I just want to ask him one thing.
All right.
Luca, can you name one thing, Luca, that an atheist has contributed to any field of science? One atheist that's contributed anything to your beliefs in science? One atheist.
Well, NASA, probably.
Crickets.
That's not NASA. Isn't an atheist. Luke.
NASA doesn't hold any beliefs.
Trying to make these questions as easy as possible. I know NASA's not an entity. NASA's Luca. I know. I'm really trying to.
Come on, NASA is an organization, or an organization doesn't have belief.
Well, let's put it this way. Let's say Dawkins. Do you believe Dawkins brought anything original to the table?
Dawkins?
Richard Dawkins, that idiot that wrote that book, The God Delusion.
Do you think he brought anything new to the table, Luca?
Who's that?
Richard Dawkins.
He wrote
I don't know.
God Delusion. Yeah.
Who's that?
He wrote The God Delusion. You must have heard of Richard Dawkins.
No.
Oh, wow.
I give up.
You're heliocentric.
Luca, do you still think NASA's an atheist? So you do think NASA is an atheist, Luca? Are you saying no theist can work for NASA, Luca? Is that your claim?
No. I didn't say no theist can work for NASA.
You said NASA. Well, Luca, almost 98% of the employees of NASA are theists, Luca. So what's going on with you today, man? Are you okay, buddy? This is weird. Yeah, all the people that work for NASA, almost all of them are theists, Luca.
But according to...
I think people are going to start thinking I'm being mean to you if I keep asking questions, Luca. I'm going to have to back out of the conversation. I just
anyway,
can't
guys,
make this work. Never mind.
I'm going to have to end the stream anyway, guys. I've got to go. It was interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Also, wasn't Stephen Hawking an atheist?
Yeah.
Wow.
Where is he now?
Wow.
Where is he now, Luca?
So an atheist did actually contribute to
Okay,
science.
name some. Okay, Luca. Okay, I'll take it back. Name one thing that he contributed to science, Luca. What did he contribute to science? Go ahead. That was easy.
He work on black holes? Black holes. Cosmology.
See how easy it is? All you got to do is ask him.
Exactly. So where's the
science?
Where's the science in that?
Luca, heliocentrism in itself is its own belief.
Is that science, Luca? Is that science, or is that he imagined? Did he imagine this, Luca? He imagined black holes. Is that science? Your final
No.
answer?
Quantum gravity is scientific.
Luca.
Okay, guys, I'm just gonna end the stream. You guys can carry on
Wow,
talking.
Luca.
I'm just doing